my prayer is that there's some people watching this today that need some fresh heart. I don't know how do you, I don't know how to do it.
Fresh heart.
Fresh heart.
Yeah.
Some Philemon.
That's such a good Scottish accent.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Iris Global Green Room. I am here with my really good friends, whose last name I know, Jan and Alan Kilpatrick. And it is good to be here with you guys. Oh, really quick, before I go, I wanted to give a special thanks to Hillary, Liz, Glam. God, I always get it wrong. I'm not doing good with last names today. Thank you, Hillary, for making me this t-shirt. They're not available. I'm not having a sales pitch. You got to make your own. Hey, guys.
Nice.
Hey.
Jan and Alan Kilpatrick are part of the Iris team, missionaries in Mozambique. You were missionaries in Mozambique. You are now a part of our family care team, which is kind of the overarching group that takes care of missionaries on the field and base leaders on the field, pastoral care. So you are a licensed counselor.
Yeah.
You are a Anglican priest originally. I'm sure we're going to hear about some of this. And I want each and every one of you watching this to listen, because we're going to go some places today that I think are really important. And you guys know I rarely do this, but I brought them on because I would like to talk about a couple of things. I want to hear their story, but what I would really like to do is get to addiction, specifically alcoholism. But I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot of addiction stuff, and I might share some of my story as well.
Great.
And I would love to have a conversation about that, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So
Sounds good.
it does sound good. I love you guys. I love these guys very much. It's an honor to have you on. So sit back, relax, and let's get right on into it. How are you guys?
We're great.
Okay.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, you are.
Absolutely. Talking with you is always a good thing.
We have to put subtitles under you.
Yeah,
Possibly.
probably. If I get very excited, you might not be able to understand what I say.
How long have you guys been married?
37, nearly 37. Well, 36 and a half years.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And you are from?
I was born and raised in Kenya.
Okay. That is not a Kenyan accent I'm picking up. Okay.
No. So I lived there till I was 10, and then I moved back to the UK, to England. My parents were from England. And then we have kind of moved around the world, different places, different locations. So I love different cultures. Mm-hmm. I love missions. It's in my DNA. And I get to do it with Alan.
And Alan, where are you from?
Glasgow. Originally.
Yeah. Are you going to just give me like one word answers?
Yeah,
you
possibly.
You don't
possibly.
do that.
Make you work hard
Don't,
for this.
please.
Yeah. Now, born in Scotland, Glasgow, lived there till I was 15, part of the Plymouth Brethren denomination out there, so it was a really strict upbringing, and there's no instruments in the morning and stuff like this. Ladies had to wear hats. Then in 1980, we moved down to southern England, where my parents became pastors of a church.
Yeah.
And before that, they'd been involved in mission work, based in Scotland, but going over to Europe every summer. So we would spend 2 or 3 months in Europe, in Italy or whatever, giving out gospel tracts and stuff.
So both of you guys, your whole life has been surrounded by ministry. Your parents were part of Partners in Harvest.
Yeah.
So Toronto Outpouring. Mm-hmm. So you've been involved in kind of the spirit-filled charismatic movement. How does that happen to an Anglican?
Oh, goodness knows. I must confess that when my parents, because I was training in 1994 when Toronto happened, and I was at theological college, and my parents went to Toronto and came back, and I must confess I thought they were a little bit loopy. I thought they were a bit strange. Loved them dearly. I thought, well, what's happened to them? And for me, it was a slow process of ending up in helping to lead an Anglican church in London that was charismatic with, I suppose, with seatbelts we'd call it, charismatic theologically, in practice not so much. And I suppose just in in the process of seeing what's happened to my parents and learning more, being in the Anglican Church. There was great outpourings in the Anglican Church, particularly in London, charismatic in Holy Trinity Brompton and stuff like that. The charismatic movement started to develop, and we grew with it. And I can remember it was actually in 2005. I was off with severe clinical depression for about 9 months. My parents, and heavy medication, not working, leading a church, thought my ministry's finished, because who's going to employ a depressed Scottish priest? I mean, it's not the best. That was going to be fun, isn't it? And my dad had organised a conference, Partners in Harvest conference with Surpresa.
Yeah.
And I can just remember this laughing man at this conference. I didn't really know who he was. And my dad had asked Surpresa if he would pray for me. And Surpresa said, absolutely, let's do that. And this is towards the end of the conference. And I remember distinctly, he came and he embraced me. He just wrapped his arms around me. And if you've got depression, you don't particularly want to be with anybody, near anybody, but he just came and prayed for me in that bear hug stance for about half an hour. And I can just remember after that, something changed.
Wow. And
I think it was moments like that you start to push more into the charismatic things. I think healing and speaking in tongues and miracles and signs and wonders. And so, yeah.
Wow. And you guys have kids?
Yeah, we've got 4 beautiful adult children and 2 son-in-laws. Yeah. And we have 4 grandchildren.
Come on.
Yeah, so we are fruitful.
Yeah, you are. And
absolutely.
How did you meet?
We met in London. I just got a job in the airline industry, and Alan was...
I could totally imagine you being a flight attendant.
I was not a flight...
100%.
Oh, I was not a flight attendant.
Well, that's what... Oh, what were you doing?
I was in sales.
Oh, God. I just totally...
Yeah, sorry.
I'm just thinking young, beautiful lady, Flight attendant. You were in sales?
Yes.
What airline?
I worked for, oh my goodness. Okay, this is dating me. TWA. Does anyone know TWA?
I mean, I've heard about it.
Okay, it was Trans World Airlines.
Or Tribulations with Alan.
Yeah. So I just moved to London. Alan was a computer programmer working for a life insurance company. And we went to an Anglican church, which was full of young adults, kind of professionals. And it was led by an older couple who I'd known my parents in Kenya. And they were just really safe. And he was a real father. And it was just a great place for young adults to kind of grow spiritually. It probably wasn't the most charismatic, but it was really solid and grounded in scripture.
I mean, you guys came out of it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So that's where we met in London in
Amazing.
89.
May, June 89, 88, and then we were married a year later.
Okay. Wow.
Wow.
And you guys have been on a journey. I know some of it. But before we get into the nitty gritty, are there some highlights that you want to share along the way that might give some backdrop to what we're going to chat about today around addiction? Like, I know that you went through a season, the church in the UK, where you were pulled out of your position.
No.
What? Yes. The newspaper thing?
The newspaper thing. Oh, yeah. No, I wasn't pulled out.
Okay.
No, I wasn't pulled out. Yeah, I mean, I think you're referring to Northern Ireland.
Was that Northern Ireland? Okay,
yeah.
I'm all backwards this morning.
That's okay.
Yeah. When you came and stayed with us, we were in Northern Ireland. That's that time. Yeah. No, we'd been in Cape Town, South Africa, living and working at an Anglican church down there, and it was great. We loved it, and the Lord was doing great things. But our children were struggling in the education system, which is very different from the UK. So we ended up going back to the UK.
Yeah.
And a bishop we had, by chance, connected with in Cape Town had an opening and had invited us to go over to live in Northern Ireland to a church that wanted, we were told, more of the Holy Spirit. We discovered maybe 4 or 5 wanted more of the Holy Spirit. The rest were quite happy with the way things were at the time. And so we went there, And just remembering the first Sunday, we looked at each other and thought, what on earth have we done? You know, really, we've moved halfway across the world back to this. But the Lord knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
And we were invited to, in Northern Ireland, you have the Protestant loyal orders, you have the Catholics and the Protestants, and the feeling is still very quite strong of, you know, neither the twain shall mix, but there's progress. But there's a Protestant loyal order, 3 levels, orange, purple and black. If you get into the black, you're basically Freemasonry. It's Freemasonry.
Okay, I hear the words. Explain this to me a little bit more.
You
said there's a Protestant law and order.
Protestant loyal order.
Loyal order,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, loyal order. That's why we need subtitles.
Yeah.
Protestant loyal order, and men can be part of that. And the base level is orange, and they meet together and they have marches, and you know, behind it is all about Protestantism and making sure, you know, Catholics not good, basically. And then you can actually go up to the next level by doing certain things, which is called the purple. They're all purple. And then there's actually another level at the top, which is called the royal black preceptory. And the so-called because they're sad, a partner that's sad because Joseph, the patriarch, has died, which is why they're called the royal black. Strange, I know. Wow. I couldn't quite work that out. But they are basically Freemasons.
When you say basically, would they look at themselves as Freemasons?
They wouldn't call themselves that. They would call themselves Christians, but looking at all the levels, all the stuff that they have to do to accept, it's the same
and
as
it's
Freemasons.
secret.
And it's secret society.
Yeah.
But many people, as part of the culture, and many people are part of it in the church, and even some of my colleagues as priests were part of it.
Really?
And long story short, they came to us, Jared and I, to ask us to do a service for in our church, and after a very quick think and pray, we said no. And because hidden, the light's not, you know, we're not going to do anything with hidden. There's nothing hidden, because the truth is.
When you say a service, what does that look like? Like just
they would come, they prayed up in all the regalia, and I would lead a service for them in the church. And
basically saying like, hey, this is good, like honoring.
If you're going to connect with it, you're basically advocating for it and identifying, saying this is all good.
Would most Anglicans be like, this is an honor that they would ask, or would?
No, they'd kind of tend to. I mean, I can't, but my thought was that a lot of people who didn't agree with it would perhaps be on holiday and get somebody else to do it for them.
Okay.
So
it's something that they put up with.
Yeah,
but very much institutional.
Very institutional.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we said, no, we're not going to do that. And they said, well, basically they said, well, you're going to regret this. And we went, okay. And the next day, newspapers started calling for interviews. You were doorstep with a photographer in newspaper. And 3 or 4 months, we were in the newspapers in Northern Ireland every day. And it was the best of times and it was the worst of times, but it ended up the best of times.
Oh, okay. You that's getting to the end, but in the middle, okay, a journalist shows up the next day after you say no to this opportunity based out of the conviction.
Yep.
Yes.
What were you thinking? Did you have any expectation that something like this might happen, or was this totally out of the blue? Like, we said no, you know, we might deal with a little bit of guff from you know, a board or something like that.
Yeah, we didn't kind of think where it would go, but we stood on our convictions, and we never 1 minute wavered in that. There was never a sense of, oh, what have we done? Right. There was a sense we're standing for truth. And we don't believe in anything hidden. Yeah. And the Lord had set it up in that we'd just done a marriage course in, I can't remember, it was in the June perhaps. And we'd done nothing hidden. We'd done the Bethel, nothing hidden. Mm-hmm. And so we, you know, you've done a week of this, and we believe in our marriage in nothing hidden. Yeah. Everything comes to the light. We don't keep any secrets ever.
Even if it's difficult to bring to the light.
Yeah.
So that's our kind of stand.
Core conviction.
Core, yes, to our core. So when somebody asks you, can we do a service in your church? And we're a secret organization. We did say, oh, we'd like to know a little bit more. And they're like, oh, here's a literature. It's full of Bible verses, but there was no truth. And you investigated a bit, and people were quite scared to talk about it.
Huh. So they show up. You're in the front page of the paper for the next 3 months?
3 or 4 months,
yeah,
literally.
And can you just fill us in on what did that look like?
They got my age wrong, which was like,
They're the
don't
worst.
do
They're
that.
the worst.
The quality of the writing was sometimes wonderful, because in one article I can remember we started with 4 children, and by the end of the article we only had 3 children, and they got the names wrong. So it's quality journalism. When we did that, I'd met with my bishop and said, Harold, this is what Jan and I we feel we've been asked to do this. We're going to do this. I don't want to bring any dishonor upon you, so I will resign from this. But I'm not going to change. We're not going to change our mind on it. And he said, no, I want you to stay because I fully support you and fully agree with you. This needs to change. He was a spirit-filled man who was just wonderful, so strong. And so we stayed. And what that looked like was just increasing antagonism and manipulation. We had a petition outside our church taking names. As people went into church, we just said good morning to them. They didn't want our names on the petition to oust us. There was phone calls, there was Facebook groups, there was my car was blocked in to try and force me to go to a women's meeting because they wanted to confront me. One meeting we had a yearly leadership meeting to elect the leadership body for the next year, which is a crazy system, but that's what it was. And the first year before we said no, there was about 20 people, and then we said no, and the following year there was
over 100.
When there was nearly 200 people, and most of them they're all black, and we had to elect a leadership, and the way they did it was the people from the congregation would call out names of who they think needs to be in the leader, then they would vote on it. I mean, silly system. So we decided to do communion and worship before, not knowing this was going to happen.
Wow.
And then it came to this point where I looked at 170 people who were completely against us, started to call out all these names. I was writing all these names down. We ended up with a whole list of names, and then there was 12 positions. There was 12 people on the list that, were supporters, and about 30 who were not. And just as we were sitting there, just saying, Lord, if all these people get in, my position here is untenable.
But don't they have to have some sort of like standing within the church? Like you can't just walk off the street and get your name
They do
called.
have to be part of the church, and we managed to they were trying to circumvent that, and we managed to stave that off. I say, we need a miracle here, Lord, to myself. And we took the votes. They were going out to count them. Somebody stood up and said, I don't trust you, Kilpatrick. You're going to manipulate this. And we just said, well, go and count. You go and count the votes then. We've got nothing to hide. You go and count the votes and see what And so he went out and supervised the counting of the votes, and they came back and all 12 people had been elected. And all the ones that were supporters had been elected into leadership.
Wow.
Apart from two vacancies, the treasurer and the chairman, and I quickly changed that. Wow. And so it was like, and that was a miracle. That was like a turnaround moment for the whole church, for all the people who were tentatively supporting us to see that happen. They were up to 4:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Just talking about what they had seen, because it was a miracle. So that was a big turning point for us, and at the end result of it was we said to Harold, this is not bringing renewal to a church, this is a rescue mission.
Right. So
you need to give us permission to be able to start a church. and a couple of very vociferous meetings that we weren't allowed to attend. It was simply said that Alan and Jan will be at the Sports and Social Club in a Catholic area.
In a bar.
At 9 o'clock on Sunday morning, and that was all that was said.
Wow.
We didn't invite anybody, and over half the church came, and that became a Church of Ireland church called Hope Community Church that's now one of the fastest growing churches in Northern Ireland. And we were there 2 or 3 months ago. We hadn't been there for 10 years, and it was just amazing to see what the Lord's done in the lives of people.
And at what time did you get connected with Iris? Was it after that?
No, it was way before that. Okay. So Alan's parents, Bob and Eileen, had been on the Iris UK board. They'd met Heidi in Toronto. So they'd been out to Maputo. They'd been asked to become missionaries. They'd been even thought about it. So there was history there. So when we lived in Cape Town, we invited Heidi down to come and do a conference in Cape Town at our church. And she'd not been down there. And because of the relationship, she obviously knows Bob and Eileen, she came. And that was kind of our first kind of, but we'd known about Iris, obviously, we, kind of heard a lot about it from Alan's mum and dad.
I'd been up to Pemba for the Alpha course as well.
Okay.
Yes.
To teach the Alpha course.
It was a place that, and a lot of people obviously in South Africa had been up to Pemba.
Yep.
So there was we had a lot of connections that way. So that was our kind of first, really just kind of friendship starting in developing that.
What year did you get onto the field out there in Pemba and serve as missionaries?
It was quite short-lived.
It was. I mean, so we planted the church, we led the church for 2 years in Northern Ireland when we were talking about it. And then the Lord spoke very clearly to us that we both had to leave, which is not a great church planting. So, you've walked people through, families were split up.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. But the Lord very clearly showed us. And so we stepped out and resigned, and which meant we lost the salary, the home, etc., stuff like that. And we said, okay, Lord, what you want to do? And so that's when we ended up going to the Harvest Mission School in Pemba.
Yep.
You'd had stayed with us actually just before that.
Yeah, I remember.
So it was a growing relationship.
Yep. Yeah.
So
it's beautiful.
We thought, well, should we, do the Harvest School? And our daughter Kezia had done it the year before. She'd absolutely loved it. And we kind of thought, what opportunity, I was 50, you were 50, too? To kind of go and do something. It's a great opportunity. We've left everything behind. Yeah. Let's do something new.
Yeah.
And so we went and...
not thinking we're going to be part of the mission of Iris.
Yeah.
At the time,
we thought we'll probably have a change and then go back into leading a church somewhere. Right. But then it became very clear that actually this was a movement that we wanted to be part of, and serve in some way. And
and you stepped onto family care team.
That was a little bit later. So when we were at Harvest School, Heidi, she so beautifully does, kind of, said, your family, come and get involved. And, said, come back to Mozambique. And so we went and staffed another Harvest School, but that kind of had to move from Pemba to South Africa. And then we were like, okay, so if we're part of family care, how does that look?
Right.
And then we met Emmeline at the gathering in Orlando.
Is that where you guys met?
Emmeline,
No way.
Yeah.
That was our first.
I think she'd
major.
Been around. Yeah, but that was our first,
Wow.
Yeah.
So cool. Okay. And then since then, you've been a part of family care.
Yes.
And how would you...
Not since then, because that was not... We ended up becoming directors of hospitality for a year.
Okay.
And then after we had to leave because of the situation in Pemba, we became part of family care.
Okay. So if you could define your job in Iris with a couple of sentences, how would you do that?
Oh, I think that's quite easy.
I think it is.
Yeah, go for it.
We're professional cheerleaders.
Professional cheerleaders, putting fresh heart into people.
Putting
fresh heart. You love that phrase.
Onesimus.
Onesimus.
Paul, Philemon, and Paul said, this man has encouraged me, but in the 1950s, an English New Testament scholar called J.B. Phillips did a precursor to the Message, and he translated encourage as putting fresh heart. And ever since we saw that, that's what we want to do. Whatever job we're doing, that's what we want to do. We want to put fresh heart into people because people need to be encouraged.
I love it. I love Philemon. I just did a whole message. It's great when you can sit down at church and read an entire book of the Bible.
Fantastic. I love it.
It's so great in one setting. Yeah. And people don't get angry.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, you
It's
can't
great.
do that.
Philemon's a good
Isaiah.
read. I love that. And I think getting to know you guys over the years is incredible. You just got your degree.
Yeah, well, I've just qualified last year as a counsellor, and now I'm doing continuing professional development and doing CBT training.
Yeah.
Finished that.
So not only do you guys have the technical acumen, is that it?
Very good.
Is that it? Yeah. But you also have a life lived.
Yeah.
And on the field and serving the church. One of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on today, and one of the things that I've loved watching you minister in and hearing your story is about addiction and your struggle with addiction. And I know a lot of people watching have struggles. I've had my own struggles with addiction over the years. And I wanted to kind of open up the space for you to share your story, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And in the midst of all of this, you had another battle going on. Not recent. This is years ago, correct?
Yeah. End of the 80s, beginning of the 90s.
Okay. But ever since I've known you, I always get around people that, were once addicts or no longer, and they don't talk about it. They're like, there's this staunch, this is where I stand. I've always, even though you're very firm, I love the way that you talk about it, handle it, and my prayer is that there's some people watching this today that need some fresh heart. I don't know how you say. I don't know how to do it.
Fresh heart.
Fresh heart. Yeah. Some Philemon.
That's such a good Scottish accent. You sound like Scotty off Star Trek, the original series.
It's better than Shrek.
I know there's a lot of people that are struggling.
Sure.
And I was wondering if you could pour out some of that, a cup of fresh heart.
Good cup of fresh heart.
So I'm going to turn this over to you. Share whatever you want. And I'll probably interrupt.
Yeah, do.
Inappropriately. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll start, then Jan can interject. I was not brought up in a home that drank alcohol. The Plymouth Brethren in Scotland, the only alcohol you drank was the communion wine. And I can remember actually one guy drinking a lot of communion wine had to be told off because he would take the communion cup and literally glug it.
Literally. Paul says something about that. Whatever.
And so that was never part of my life until I moved to England. And when I went to England, you go into the last 2 years of you call it high school, you go into the last 2 years of school over here, sixth form in the United Kingdom, and started to experience parties and alcohol. That was not part of my culture at all in Scotland. I started to experience things and didn't get wild at all, but it was very obvious that I was enjoying alcohol, and ended up going to college to study pure maths in North London, and incredibly broken, I discovered, and homesick, and ended up starting to drink heavily. All my friends would smoke weed or dope, whatever. I tried it once, didn't do anything for me. So they would always know that if we were going to have a session, they would be smoking the dope, and they would get me a bottle of scotch. So we'd go out drinking, and I'd go back. And I can remember throughout that year, I was probably about 18, just come up to 19. I can remember I had an NIV Bible. And I would wake up having drunk vomited in my bed, just thinking, I'm a Christian, what's happening? I would open my Bible, I remember writing in the Bible, help me God. And it just, that year was horrible. Ended up leaving and going back home, thinking that going to a different place, going back to safety, it was just a blip, would change things. And of course, a geographical, as they say in Alcoholics Anonymous, doesn't do anything. You just take the same rubbish with you, the same conditions with you. So ended up studying for a couple of years. Excuse me. And the drinking just started to increase. Worked in the bank, which was not a good match for me, but ended up in the management program of a bank. Worked in London and in Kensington High Street, and then ended up becoming a computer programmer in a company in Shepherd's Bush in London. And just all through those years, just increasing dependency on alcohol. The choice was mine initially, but you get to the stage where your body and your mind psychologically is addicted, and it's very, very difficult to stop. And at the church in West London.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Do you ever remember a time when you, like, I can clearly remember a time when I would drink recreationally, and then I can remember that time where maybe it wasn't a specific moment where I'm like, wow, I'm drinking more and more. Was there, as you've talked to people, do you think that there's like a warning sign, or was there a specific thing that you could point back and be like, if I just would have paid attention to this moment or this season?
For me, with my personality, it was just, excuse the phrase, hell for leather from the beginning.
Hell for leather.
Yeah, just going for it.
Okay, just all in.
Just all in for me. I mean, they say in Alcoholics Anonymous that, one drinks too much and 1,000's never enough. And that was me, right from the beginning. And I cannot identify, apart from the pain of being separated and loneliness in that first year at university. And I tried to get plugged into church, but at that time particularly, the church didn't know how to handle me.
Right.
Or what to do, but also I was hiding everything. You're putting everything underneath. You're hiding everything. For goodness sake, don't let people see you as you really are. Hide. And I even did that in a church that Jan was talking about in London. Everybody knew that Alan liked a good drink, but I would arrange for somebody. I'd meet you, Will, at the pub at 7:00. I would go around there at 5:30, drink, leave at 5 to 7, wait until you go in, drink with you, then leave with you, and then go back around the block and go back to the pub. So from your perspective, I was drinking for an hour and a half.
So you're calculated.
Oh, very much. Yeah. It was most important about, the two most important things was, first of all, that I could drink, and the second one is that I looked good in front of people. Those are the two most important things at that time. Right.
So you can't look good in front of people if you're inebriated.
No, it's difficult.
So how would you weigh that? How would you make that happen?
What do you mean?
Like, how you said you want to look good in front of people, right?
Yeah.
But if you're drinking, right, circling the block, going in for your second session hour, drinking, going, like, my guess is that you're not looking your best. Session 2.
No, but by the time we get to that stage where I started to do that in London, your body builds up a tolerance.
Okay.
And so I'd built up a tolerance that it took quite a lot for me to get to the stage where I was out of control.
So you still had control session 2. Session 3, you were losing control.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And at this point, I was a worship leader in the church and a small group leader.
And dating me.
And dating Jan.
And did you know all this?
No. I had no clue.
No clue?
No clue. No. Absolutely none.
Would you ever go drinking with him?
Well, I mean, it was quite a culture in London, in the 80s. it was, and we'd go to church in the evening, and then after all the young adults would go to the pub and we'd have a drink.
I will never forget my first trip in the UK where where I spoke at a service and they were like, we're all going down to the pub. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, we're going to go. Like, I said, who? They're like, the people here in the congregation.
Yeah.
And it shocked me. It was jarring the first time I drank around.
Yeah.
Like the people that I just preached to. It was weird. It's a
So
different culture.
It's a different
just a
culture.
regular thing.
And it's not saying that's bad.
No, I'm not saying that. It was very strange for me.
It's just, they have hymns and hymns.
Yeah.
In some churches,
Yeah.
where you have like a...
Hymns and hymns.
Hymns and hymns.
So,
Hymns is a drink, for those of you guys who don't know.
Yeah, it is. So it was very much that culture. And so we would meet at the pub around the corner.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Alan had been there before me. He'd walk me home, say goodnight to me, and then he'd go back to the pub. I thought he'd go home. I had no idea.
Okay.
I never saw him drunk.
Okay.
Till the wheels fell off.
Yeah.
Significantly.
Continue on, Alan. Let's hear about those wheels.
Those wheels.
Yeah.
They came off. We got married in June 17th, 1989.
Okay.
And 14 months later, in August, September 1990, I found myself in rehab for alcohol addiction. I don't know what happened. If it was, I felt secure in a relationship in a way that I'd never felt before, but then it just became too hard to hide everything, or if it was a combination of both, I just then started not to care whether people knew or not. And I think we were in Rio, because with TWA we got cheap flights, and so we're in Rio for a holiday for a week or so, and I think that's when you specifically started to notice that actually there was something seriously wrong.
Okay, so you get married, you have no idea this is an issue.
No.
Okay. How long did it take you before you recognized something?
That was the trip to Rio.
It was that trip.
Yeah.
And
so we
been
got married
how
in
long?
June.
Okay.
6 months.
Okay. So you still kept this for 6 months under wraps.
Yeah.
How?
London at the time, it was, you had longer commutes to get in there. The days were longer work-wise. The culture that I worked in was a heavy drinking culture, particularly at lunchtime. We worked in flexi time, so you made your own hours, so that we would go to the pub for 2 or 3 hours at lunchtime. And I do remember going back to work with a computer screen in front of me trying to program, and found it quite difficult to program. And
I would say.
Literally just not being able to do it.
But he kept getting promoted until he stopped getting promoted.
And I would have a beer at home. So I would make sure that I could have that fix at lunchtime.
So you're spacing it out all day.
Yeah, and just you have to after a while, because it becomes just a bit too much to have those every night binges where you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
It just becomes very difficult.
Was there a moment where you're like, oh, I'm going to quit? It's January 1st. I'm going to quit, right? New year. And then you started to, was there any of those moments, or was it just...
I think probably, I can't remember specifically, but I'm sure there's times when I thought, this is going to kill me. This is going to destroy everything. I should quit. But that desire is never... Because self-control, desire is never enough to quit addiction. The best way to quit addiction is surrender and say, listen, this is too powerful for me. You've beaten me every single time. I can't, so you win. I surrender. So what can I do now? And I think that's the way I looked at it. And I think it's a more helpful way to look at it, because if you get into the culture of, I'm going to quit, I'm going to do this, you're always going to get disappointed generally. And you end up drinking more. Okay,
so 6 months. You're in Brazil?
Yeah. It was cheaper to drink beer than water, so Alan happily obliged.
Yeah.
Well, that's good news.
So I think I was like, oh, this isn't normal, you know. Because, again, at home, we didn't drink every night. There was, you know, we didn't. So on holiday, I was like, oh, this is not normal. And you confessed to me that you'd used some money for something that we'd been saving to buy a house. And we'd put money away for a deposit. And I don't think it was a huge amount. But I grew up in a real home of honesty and openness. So I was shocked that Alan had taken something out of our savings maybe a few weeks, months ago, and he'd not told me.
Wow.
So that was so earth-shattering to me that he'd used it, and I don't know if he'd used it on fruit machines or something, because when you're drinking in the pub...
I got addicted to fruit machines. Yeah.
You know, it's like, what else
gambling?
are you going to do?
Is that,
you know,
okay.
the fruit. Yeah, they have them in all.
I
the
pictured
pubs.
a vending machine full of fruit.
No,
Yeah,
but then I was like, no,
this
that's
is the
not it.
19
You
going back to...
I don't know what you call it.
I was like, bananas, apples.
You see them at Las Vegas all the
Grapes?
time.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
What I don't know what you call them.
Those little slot machine.
Yeah.
type
Yeah,
things,
slot machine. Yeah.
So he'd used a significant, well, back then it felt quite significant on that. And I was like, oh, okay, something's not right here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it felt like a punch to your stomach, really.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what I thought we had was an honest and open relationship. Isn't. And I think very quickly after that, you were working longer. I was kind of, is he having an affair?
Right.
Or what's going on? Because, you know, I'd come back from work and he'd still be out. I'd go to bed, he'd come in, I'd get up, go to work, he'd still be in bed. So it was very...
And there was a pub next door to where we moved into,
Yeah.
like 3 doors down, which is very convenient.
Yeah, very convenient.
Very convenient. The Lord Nelson.
So, yeah.
The Lord Nelson was the name of the pub?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was this consistent, and then, as Alan said, it kind of got worse. So I was like, well, let me, in my mind as a 23-year-old, I was like, well, I'll just pour everything down the sink so there's nothing in the house.
Yeah.
But obviously that doesn't stop an alcoholic from drinking at all. And it just got worse and worse and worse. But I kind of felt that I enabled a lot because I was frightened, I was scared, and I wanted to do what I felt was the Christian thing to do.
Which was?
Oh, I have to clean up his mess. Oh, I have to, you know, look after him. I have to go pick him up when he's drunk. I need to do that because that's what a good Christian does.
Okay, and that's not what a good Christian does?
No, because I'm enabling him to continue that pattern. So in one respect, yes, there's that, you know, love looks like something, yes. Yeah. But on the other hand, if it's supporting and couching that behavior, that bad behavior, then no. So I started, I was such a fixer. I need to fix this. So I even remember going to his boss and saying, can we have a meeting?
Yeah.
You know, my husband's going through this. And it was just, yeah.
Okay.
So I really felt, oh, well, if I pick him up, you know, bring him home, then put him to bed, clean up his mess, you know, I'm being a loving wife, what a loving wife should do.
Yeah.
And that's not the truth. And it's not what, you know, I'm called to do as a spirit-filled.
So you say that now after being married and
yeah.
walking through this and getting some education and psychology
yeah,
under your belt.
yeah.
What would you say to your 23, 24-year-old self?
Love doesn't look like cleaning up constantly behind people, because that's actually rescuing. That's not love. Love looks like sometimes putting, I know you don't like this word, boundaries in place. It looks like
I love boundaries. Some of them.
Yeah.
But
it's like putting in a place of, actually, I'm not codependent. I'm not going to fall into this unhealthy game of, I mean, how much responsibility is there when you've got somebody cleaning up after you?
Right.
It's like, oh, well, I can just get drunk. She'll pick me up. I just phone her and say, come pick me up, I'm at this pub.
And then I would move to a different pub.
It became a real cat and mouse. And it got to the point, again, I was like, so I need to take his bank cards off him so he can't get money out, so he can't go to the pub. But again, I got caught in this swirl of this game, which is exhausting because nobody's going to win.
Right. So what would you have done differently?
I think sometimes you've got to give people permission to hit rock bottom.
Right, but can I just play the other side of the coin, right?
Yeah, do.
He's spending your money.
Yeah.
Right, that you guys survive on. He's the breadwinner.
No, we both had good jobs.
Oh yeah, you were a stewardess. No,
I was.
I'm just kidding. No, so you were in sales.
Yeah.
Right. So would you advocate just leaving him?
I could have. And my dad just had such wisdom. He was a real man of kind of like real wisdom and discernment. And he said to me on the phone once, he said, Jan, you can come home. Mm. And I said, no. 6 months ago, I walked down the aisle and I vowed, and we're going to get through this. And I don't know what it looks like, but we're going to get through this. And I don't think my dad giving me that option was beautiful, because it was like, you're not dishonoring. Because actually, this has already broken that vow. So that's okay. Because he was a real man of God, my dad. Real man of God. But it gave me permission to think, oh, okay, it's okay if I did. There's nothing, I'm not going to get beaten over the head with a stick by God. Right. I have permission, but I have choice. And I'm choosing to stick through this and stick with Alan.
Looking back at you, I know now you're happy, but if you were to replay this again, do you think it would have been beneficial at the time, or maybe made this process quicker if you did? And I know it's all retrospective.
Yeah.
But I honestly want to know, because and the reason why I'm asking is I think there's probably people here watching this that are in a similar situation, or have a friend, or a child that just got married or whatever. It's in a similar, and how would you advise?
Yeah,
them?
and I think I started going to AA, Al-Anon, which is alcoholics. It's for family and friends of alcoholics. Okay. And I learnt there, don't ever threaten, because threats are empty, aren't they? So if you're going to make a decision, make a decision. So if I'd made a decision to leave, that's okay. And I think maybe it might have helped. It might have quickened up the process, because I wasn't there enabling him, and he would have had to kind of maybe fall harder, faster, quicker. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But I was terrified. I was really scared. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have an option, because I had a job that I still, loved and went to and enjoyed. It wasn't like, I could just move into somebody else's house. That wasn't an option in London. So it wasn't something I even thought of, really. Yeah. But I don't think there's anything, I think, but if you're going to make a decision not expecting that person to, be firm in that choice. Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah. Very hard.
It's really hard. And remember, at this time, I was 24 and Jan was 23 years old, so we're really young, naive.
It sounds like she had a good head on her shoulders.
She did.
Like, legitimately.
She did. Absolutely. I mean, literally, I can never say that Jan saved my life, but fairly close to it.
Yeah.
Fairly close to it, because of her commitment. Her tenacity, her ability to live in a situation that was horrible. It was fairly short. My drinking career was fairly short, over a small number of years. And I can always remember I was at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in Birmingham in England, and this guy was in his 60s and had started to tell about all these types of drinks he'd had that I'd never had, and these cures for a hangover that I'd never had. And I started to get jealous because I'd never drank that. I'd never tried that cure. I can remember him coming up to me and just looking at me and says, don't you dare regret ever recovering young. I've lived my life in hell through addiction, and I'm recovered now, and I'm thankful for that. But you've got the rest of your life to live in your freedom.
Wow. What's crazy to me is, one, he recognized that on you, and two, that would be a thought.
Yeah.
Like, I missed out on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
that whole scenario is just crazy to me.
I mean, it's just warped. I mean, addiction is warped.
Yeah.
And it takes a while, even if you get into recovery of not drinking, it takes a while to start to sort that warpness out. It doesn't just happen like that.
Yeah.
And I suppose the first 10 years after I was in rehab was a process of me of starting to try and heal and live without drink and think without drink and repair our marriage and work. So it's after Jan saw the whole thing in Rio, the wheels came off very quickly. Friends could recognize that there was something wrong. I tried to do a couple of times. I tried to do some things with a knife because it was just getting too painful to live that way. And I ended up going to my parents' house who lived a couple of hours away, because it was just getting, Jan needed a break. They'd found a rehab that I could go to. It was very costly financially, and my friends all didn't know what to do with me, but they gave money to help pay. So that's what friends can do. You can't fix people, but you can enable people to get into places maybe they can't financially get to. And but I had to make that call. Jan had arranged a place for me at Cloud's house. So the place was all ready, but they would not accept me unless I called and said, I want to come in.
Wow.
So I had to make that call. So
Yeah.
for the next week at my parents', I just drank and went to different pubs and hid. And my brother came down, one of my brothers, and I can remember he was absolutely terrified of me just because of the way I was acting. And then I got to stay, and I called and said, I need to come in. Went into rehab and spent 6-7 weeks in rehab.
He was never a happy drunk.
No.
It's always a sad and morose.
I was always I wasn't violent, but I was always melancholy.
So it wasn't even fun to be around.
It was like Eeyore. I was an Eeyore sort of drunk, not a Tigger sort of drunk. And went through rehab. That was amazing and just, painful and mixing with people. And initially my first thought when I went there, because there was drug addicts and there was, lots of different varieties of people.
Yeah. I'm not like these guys, right?
Yeah. Yes. Thinking I shouldn't be here.
Right.
I shouldn't be here. And it would be we group therapy twice a day as well as other therapy. And it became very clear to me that actually I should be there.
Yeah.
And I was in the right place. And I came out of rehab. I cried. I remember leaving rehab because it was such a safe place for me, and went back to London and didn't go to Alcoholics Anonymous, and ended up drinking a couple of times after that. Once was one night, and then 3 weeks after that, I drank for
3 weeks, I think it was.
Okay, so that one night you're out of rehab.
Yeah, it wasn't the next night out of rehab.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me about that process of walking to the pub, being like, I'm about to jack this all up again. Like, was there any?
I didn't
was that
think
process?
in my head. I didn't think I was thinking I'm going to mess this all up. It was more such a long time ago. It was 1990. It was more about, I'm not sure that I can live the rest of my life without alcohol.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's possible. You know, there's a one day at a thing time. I don't see how at 20, I was 25 because I had my 25th birthday in rehab. I don't understand how I can live as a 25-year-old for the rest of my life without touching alcohol. Because, I mean, this is very early days. And so I drank, and I called up a friend who was in rehab, who'd been in rehab with me. I just said, Dave, I think I've had a little slip. And he went, no, you haven't, Alan. You've jumped right into it, haven't you? You're an idiot. and called me out. And then 3 weeks after that, I had another binge where I cannot remember anything. I have no recollection of those days.
Was he back in the house at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were living in a vicarage in London.
A vicarage?
Yeah.
Yes. Because we didn't have a home. And
Because it was back in 1990, it was £1,500 a week for this rehab.
which is really...
Which is a lot. And so like all our money, all our savings, and then everything went on this.
Mm.
And then he came out of rehab and drank.
What was that feeling for you?
Oh, gut-wrenching.
Why didn't you quit?
I am a person of eternal hope.
Yeah.
I'm in it. I'm in it. We've walked this far. I'm not going to quit now.
Yeah, like I get that because
Yeah.
I know you and I know your faith.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to like, you go through all this time, all this money, he comes home, and you're like, you Muppet.
Yeah.
You know, like you just screwed up everything
Yeah,
that we poured
yeah.
everything into. And I think before I would be of the mindset of you were very addicted. Now you're clear-headed for the most part, right?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, yeah, it would be very hard.
Yeah, and I don't think it was all about my strength and my conviction. I think also there was a lot of fear
Yeah.
attached.
Yeah.
What do I do? I'm 25. I don't have a home. How does this play out?
Right.
So there was both, you know. But I am a person of my convictions, and I'm like, we've only been married. We hadn't even been married a year. We've been married a year, probably just over a year. And I'm like, well, I'm not, you know, we've got the rest of our life. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm just going to take the next step. And I think in one essence, that's consistently been our story, because it doesn't make, the drinking stops. It doesn't heal this. When you've gone into a marriage where there's never been trust, you know, that was a long journey of healing.
And I think for people listening, that what we're saying is not prescriptive.
Right.
We're describing what's happened to us and the decisions that we take, and every situation is different.
Yeah.
And there's no sort of, you must do this, you must do this. But what is really important is that you surround yourself with good counsel.
Yeah.
And before you make decisions. Because you can't do it alone. You can't.
We were really fortunate. Our church in London were amazing and supportive.
Wow.
They didn't know what to do, and I think that's the best thing to say.
Yeah.
We don't know what to do, but we're here to support you.
I heard you make a statement. You said, I came out of rehab. You said, but I hadn't joined AA yet.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like AA has been
AA was really important. To get to the final part, that last time drinking, November 16th, 1990, I do remember drinking all day in London, in Ealing, and getting to the evening. I don't know where Jan was at that point, at this vicarage in London, and I had a bottle of scotch and I had a knife, bread knife. I thought, all the lights were out in the house, nobody's in the house. I thought, I've messed everything up. There's no hope. So my plan was to drink the scotch and then, do the deed. And I would love to say there was a heavenly host of angels coming down and saying, no, no, no. And hallelujah, there wasn't, but there was just this sense in that dark kitchen that there was hope. That's all I can say. There was this sense, there is hope. There is hope in the midst of this hellhole that you found yourself in. And so I put down the knife. I poured the scotch down the water.
The sink.
Sorry.
I got you.
The scotch down the sink. And started going to Alcoholics Anonymous. And I said, I called my friend again who I'd been in rehab with. He lived fairly nearby. And he took me to my first meeting in not my first meeting, but the first of many meetings in Chelsea, in London. Chelsea World's End's it's a huge, big meeting, dailies, stuff like that. And I can remember he took me to my meeting, and it was a big meeting. I was quite nervous, and I didn't know anybody apart from Dave. And they would all go around saying, my name is such and such, and I've been sober for 10 years. And they would all go around and say how long they've been sober for. And I thought, it came to me, my name's Alan, and I'm not quite sure I'm sober, but I haven't drank for the past 6 hours or 8 hours or whatever, how many hours it was. And that was the journey for me, of recovery. That's when it started to recover. I started to go to Alcoholics Anonymous every day, sometimes twice a day.
Really?
Just keeping on going, and did that for many years.
So why did that, what was it about AA that flipped that switch? What was it?
I think you're surrounded by a group of people who have been through the same thing, which is really important. A lot of the times have been through worse things than you, and they're there testifying that it is possible to live one day at a time without alcohol long term. And you have a place where you can process. You can have a place where people actually call you out. And one of the most important things, they ask you to serve. And so they said, if you don't make cups of tea, then that's going to affect your sobriety in a way, because making the cup of tea for people each week will mean that you have a responsibility. You have to come back. And in rehab, I was told off and called out for not making my bed in the morning and not shaving. And it's all about this whole concept of responsibility and learning responsibility for the first time, maybe in your life. And it was one of the, remember at the beginning I said, it was one of the best experiences of church I've ever had.
Wow.
Really. Truly. You have people, rich and poor, celebrities and non-celebrities. I've sat in meetings with celebrities and meetings with people who have nothing. They're still in the street. And that's all cut away. We're all here for the same purpose. We've all messed up. We're all addicted to alcohol or drugs or cocaine or whatever it is. We're here because we can't do it alone. And we want better. We want to be free of this, and we need each other. Surely that's part of what the church is all about.
Yeah, it sounds like the church.
And it was just the best. It was wonderful. And I went to AA for many years after that. I can remember in Birmingham when I was studying theology, I used to take this, I used to pick up this old lady called Betty. She was probably 150 at the time. She smoked like a, chain smoker, and she was so old, but she'd been into AA for years and was sober, and I would pick her up every week to go to my AA meeting, and that is part of my recovery. Me picking her up to take to a meeting meant that I had to go to the meeting.
Right.
So there was no excuse.
And was that like a job that you got assigned? How does that
No,
work out?
that was just something that
you did.
I think she obviously at some point in the AA meeting said, I'm not very good at volunteering for things because that's commitment. I'm not very good at commitment. Heaven forbid I commit myself. I've got to keep my options open.
Right.
That's me.
Maybe there's a good book you need to read.
But there was obviously there was something in the meeting that somebody said, Betty needs a lift. She wants to come to AA. She can't get here without a ride. I lived close by, so it made sense. On a Thursday evening, I would go around and every single week pick her up. That's part of my recovery.
Wow. So how many years now?
35.
You've been sober.
Yeah.
35 years.
November 16th, 1990.
And you haven't touched a drop. Was there ever an instance where you were like your hand was reaching for the bottle?
No, honestly.
There was a time when people thought you would, when we had a stillbirth. We lost our first baby.
Yes.
And I think people around were more nervous than Alan was.
Okay. And how many years, by the way, that's horrible, Jan. I'm so sorry. Like I don't want to just pass over that.
No, I know. No, but that was kind
93.
of, I think everyone was like,
okay, so
is he going to?
3 years afterwards.
Yeah.
Right.
We're at theological college.
What did that feel like to have people assume that you would fall back?
I can't actually remember them.
Okay.
I can't recall them doing that. I know that people found the whole situation difficult because they didn't know what to do with the situation that happened, and they wanted to put God in the box. And I remember somebody came and knocked on our door, and said, "I believe that your child died because of the African masks you've got in your house.
Oh,
They're cursed."
God. That would cause me to want to throw a bottle at
so
we closed the door quickly.
I closed the door. I
Good
said,
job.
"I think you better leave. Goodbye."
My God.
But it just didn't cross my mind to drink, and I'm not to say that I was clean and sober in the sense of I was still struggling with addictions.
Yeah.
Smoking was one of the hardest things for me to give up.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it so much. Smoking or a cigar, it was very much part of the culture of Alcoholics Anonymous in the early 90s.
Yeah.
It's not so much now. But just, so there was ongoing struggles. There was ongoing struggles with depression. Because maybe part of the reason I don't know why I drank. People have asked me why.
That was one of my questions.
I don't know why I drank.
Do you think after all these years, do you think that there's personality that's just more, or maybe not there's just proclivity to self-soothe? Like I know that is something that I struggle with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a proclivity to, people have called it an addictive personality. I don't know if that's the right term, but there is certainly a type of personality that finds, as you say, self-soothes. Yeah. Whether that's pornography, whether it's drink, whether it's drugs, whether it's Video smoking, whatever. You can get addicted to absolutely anything. I got addicted to slot machines. And that became part of so you can get, I find it very easy to get, which on the converse, that drive and that commitment can be very positive.
Yeah.
If it's focused into the right things.
Yeah.
And so I'm an incredibly loyal person, and I love to bless and encourage and support and champion and keep on going. This is possible. And I think because of our background and our experience at the beginning of our lives together, essentially, I'm very grateful that it came at the beginning of our marriage and not halfway through. I mean, that's to me, in a sense, that's almost like a gift. That we've got the rest of our lives. We love each other more than ever. We're healthier emotionally, spiritually, physically more than we've ever been. And I'm so grateful for that. But it has been a process over years of keeping on going and focusing this personality that I have for the good, for the kingdom, for the glory of the Lord. And the reason that we talk about, we always made the decision at the beginning, and the reason we talk about our addiction was because we wanted to be missionaries in Africa. Not in Africa, in Brazil, when we saw the street children. That's what we were going to do. We were going to go to Bible college and go to South America and work with street children. And then that became very clear that was not right, that I was going to be ordained as an Anglican priest. And but that at that point we said, okay, we want our testimony to be used to encourage people.
Yeah.
And I think one of the big, I've got my little notes of all my positive stuff is that I think one of our life verses, not life verses, but life statements is you can never be too far from hope. The Lord has this, I don't know how it works theologically, but you have this, people feel as though, I felt as though I'd come up to this line called, over this line there is no hope. If you step over this line, there's no hope. And with people that might be true, but with God, I found that he just has this wonderful ability to move the boundary, and you still find there's hope because Jesus goes after his sheep. He's tenacious and goes after his sheep. I'm so grateful that he came after me and would not let me go. And you know, we pray that for our children, for our grandchildren, and for our friends, that Jesus would keep on going after them, because he's very tenacious, and I'm so grateful that he's tenacious. Yeah. And the Lord is always hope, the God of all hope. He's not called the God of some hope. He's called the God of all hope. And you're never too far from hope. So if anybody is listening at the moment, and whether you're addicted or whether you're partnering with somebody who's addicted, or your child's addicted, or your parents are addicted, I want you to hear that phrase, that you're never too far from hope, that he's the God of all hope. And even in the messiest and most horrible situations that you think are, by worldly standards, not solvable, not sortable, you've tried everything, it truly is Jesus. And he will come after his sheep, and he will come after. You don't rescue them, he rescues them. Yeah. And I really want people, we want people to hear that. We want people to come, if they listen to anything we say, if they listen to this podcast in any measure, that we want them to leave not knowing all the answers, but to feel as though they've had fresh hope put into them, that the situation can be turned around.
I recently had a conversation last week with someone that is coming off of fentanyl, and I think he's been free for about a month, maybe month and a half, and he described to me his parents, who had been walking alongside of him. He described his mother as one way, his father as another way. Now, if I was to sit there and look at the parents and be like, wow, you're enabling, you're not enabling. What I heard from him was the opposite. It was like, what I looked at as enabling was a parent, I won't say which one, basically being like, I love you in the midst of the chaos. And I felt, as he was sharing this, I was like, I would have been the other parent. I would have been like, I'm done with you. I'm tired. Like, you're going to have to crash and burn on your, and I would have looked at the other parent as like kind of the enabling. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense. But when he talked about his process of being on multiple drugs for years, what stuck out to him was the parent that was like, I love you no matter what. Like, and I'm here. And it just shocked me how I would have probably been like the harder one, you know, like right in the face, you know, like confronting. But that's not what got through after all the years.
All our words cannot fix people.
Say that again.
All our words cannot fix people.
Why do you say that?
Because you can't convince somebody to stop drinking. You can't convince somebody to stop injecting or taking fentanyl. You can't persuade somebody to stop that.
Why?
Because their thought processes, their way of thinking is so warped. Mine was so warped that it was more important for me to drink than to listen to you.
So what do you do then?
You keep on, as you said, you keep on loving, you keep present, you keep praying.
Okay, but the way people love, I'm going to just replay.
But there's times when that love is hard.
Tough.
Okay. So you keep loving. You give tough love.
And even tough love can look like I'm actually removing myself from
Which
this.
for most people that doesn't make sense, because if I'm removing myself, then I'm not keeping on loving. I'm not keeping on trying. So how do you fix that? Because on one side I hear you saying keep on.
Yeah.
On the other side I say like love looks like not
can
keeping
do.
on, pulling back.
Yeah, because if you get pulled into the swirl and into the drama and into the, you know, because addicts are, I mean, in one sense, it's dumb and stupid, but on another sense, they're very creative and kind of able to pull people into it because it keeps sustains the addiction and it sustains the kind of behavior. So they don't want you to step off. They call it a merry-go-round of denial. So you get caught up on this merry-go-round of going round and, you know, denying responsibility. You know, I mean, Alan, there was always a reason to drink. Oh, I didn't get the promotion.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't want to drink.
I got the promotion.
I got the exactly. There's always going to be a reason to.
Right.
Everything.
I'm waiting on a promotion.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's always an excuse. So I don't want to get sucked into that. It's like, well, I have a choice, but I love you enough to remove myself from being caught up in this. I love you so much that I'm stepping off this.
Mm. Yeah. But for a lot of people, that would look like not trying, that would look like giving up.
Yeah,
but
it could
like Alan says, you can't change somebody else. You can only control yourself.
And it was Jan stepping off the merry-go-round that left me alone. And that left me in that position where I was either going to end my life or choose life, as they say in Train Spotting. And I wanted to choose life. You know, I had this, I suppose, encounter, I suppose it was, where the Lord came in some way. And yeah.
Wow. I quit drinking about 4.5 years ago. Hold on, what month is it? Actually, it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years I quit drinking. Because I reached a place where I lost the fear of going, like I had gently crested that hill more than once and justified it. Mm-hmm. And then there was one night, there was one night where I woke up and I was like, I'm a hypocrite. And so I quit. And I had drank since I was 21. When I got married, I had a built-in. I grew up in a very healthy culture of drinking, so I quit. And it's like the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's one of the greatest things that's ever happened. I shouldn't say the best, but it's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. And on my little journey, which is nothing, I'm not trying to make any comparison at all. There was this season where I was like, maybe it was just me, but I felt like there was this season in the 20 years ago when it was like the grace message. It was very, very, there was like this twisted grace message. And I saw a lot of people be like, grace. And then like I preached messages on, I can preach a message on the biblical justification for alcohol, which is what I do. And then, but at the end of the day, for me, it's not that I won't drink if I'm at a wedding or whatever, like I'll have a drink. Like it's not I don't have that relationship with it.
Yeah.
But I heard someone say this and it just clicked for me. It said, I've never heard anyone at the end of their life say like, I'm so grateful I drank. Like I've never heard anyone say that. And maybe someone has, but I've never heard that. Like I've never heard anyone say like alcohol has made my life better. Like, and, I have no problem drinking. My wife doesn't drink, not because she's against it. She just never, she's grew up, it's more culturally than anything else. But I'm drilling it into my kids now not to. Partially because I see a little bit of myself, in all of them. But just don't do it. And it won't bother me if they do.
Yeah.
I've never, I mean, people know about my past, but I've never talked about any of maybe at a church here and there or some. I've done it. I mean, when we were in here in this building doing our family, I shared a little bit about it. So I'll share about it to people that I'm close with.
Sure.
But it was like the best thing. People have asked me, I get asked a lot about my weight loss journey. And that actually was a huge part of it. The way I felt, the way I function, the way I think, the way I spend time with the Lord, it really changed everything in my life. And for me, the message of grace coming in a time of immaturity in my life probably allowed, if I like look back and I think it through, that probably seeded it, and then immaturity. Yeah. I think grace and immaturity, like a weird grace message and immaturity, probably justified it. It didn't allow it, but it justified Enabled it. Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's the best thing that's ever happened to both of us. But
you still drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
And I wouldn't.
Not because it's something I enjoyed socially.
Yeah.
You know, like if we went to a wedding or a party or a dinner, have friends around for dinner.
Let's make this. I have no issue with anyone that, like, I don't look down. I get it. I have friends that drink. People ask me now. I just say, no, I gave it up. I love it. I feel better. But I have absolutely no problem with anyone. So please, if you're watching this, don't hear any of that. That's not it.
And also I want people to hear that I don't do it because Alan's like on the brink. It was something actually when he came out of rehab, I was like, no, not going to do that. I'm not going to drink. And then we were invited to a party. I don't know how long ago it was after you'd been out. And I kind of thought, oh, if somebody offers me a glass of wine, oh, Alan, how would you feel about that? And he was like, oh, you can't base his sobriety on me.
Right.
I'm responsible for me. He's responsible for him.
But you also be like, you're not going to wave a carrot.
Exactly. So that was why we had the discussion. That was like, how would you feel? And he was like, oh, absolutely. That's fine if you want to. I mean, I don't even know if I did. I don't think I probably did. But it was like, oh, I'm not sure how I feel. Do I feel I want to continue not? It's never been an issue for me. It's never been something. I don't have that type of addictive personality, for want of a better word. I'm not into anything, like anything. It's just not me. I'm not kind of, I don't get obsessional about kind of things or.
Yeah. And I think Jan just hit a good point there. One of many.
You haven't said that about anything I've said.
He's not married to you.
I remember it was.
We do go clothes shopping together.
Yeah, you do.
Actually, and there's some photographs I can put online.
Which we will insert one of the photographs right here.
If
you hold your hand up like this.
We were looking at it.
You wouldn't recognize well.
We were looking at it last night, actually, over at Gabe's house. And
oh, God.
The white jackets.
Yeah. White leather jackets never hurt anybody.
Yeah. But I remember it was the 4th of September 1990. I was in rehab. It was my 25th birthday, and the counsellor was called PJ from Northern Ireland. I can remember at the group counselling session, he just went for me. I thought, this is a great birthday. Do you know it's my birthday? You did give me. He just went for me. He said, who are you recovering for? Who are you recovering for? Who are you recovering for? Because he could see that I was going to be recovering because I was a bit of a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And I was going to recover for other people. I was going to recover for Jan.
Right.
And at the end of it, he said, you cannot recover for anybody apart from yourself because people are going to let you down and they're going to give you an excuse to drink again or take drugs again. And so if you're on a journey to recovery, you cannot base your recovery on anybody else or getting sober or clean for anybody else apart from you. And that's one of the most important things that I...
Come on. We have a lunch meeting.
We do.
Now, but we don't have to... We can go a little bit longer. What's that book?
Oh, I just thought if it was opportune, because like...
Of course. That's why we're here. I want you to do whatever you want.
Yeah, 2 things.
You can say whatever you want.
Is that on the back of your T-shirt?
It is. I won't take this off, though.
I think for me, the Lord gave me, like, I mean, I don't know, some people don't believe in life verses, but
who doesn't?
I don't know.
That's the
Some
weirdest.
people are
You
like,
got to hang around better people. I don't believe in life verses.
well, do you know what I mean? People go, oh, you can't just have one verse over your life. You know, like something precious.
I have very precious things in there that have spoken to me at very significant times. And
So-
I would call them a life verse.
The Lord gave me a verse, and I think it's something I've held on to. I can't remember when I was in my 20s. And it's in Isaiah 45, verse 3. And it says, I will give you hidden treasures from dark, concealed places, and wealth waiting in secret sites, so that you can recognize me, for it is I, Yahweh, the God of Israel, who calls you by your name. And that, you don't get, it's treasures in dark places. Well, you've got to go through those places for him to pull out the treasure.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you'll see the shiny stone on the happy mountain. You may well do. But this is, this is the treasure that you, when you go through the difficulty.
Yeah.
When you go through the suffering. And I hold on to that. So everything that we walk through in suffering and pain is that I know the Lord's going to show me a treasure.
Right.
And he's going to give me a promise. I don't know what it looks like. I don't even know what it's going to be like, what it's going to feel like, because it doesn't feel good.
Right.
But that promise is not just for that situation. It was for when we lost our baby.
Yeah.
It's for when we had really tough times in our marriage.
Yeah.
It's when my kids have gone through difficulties.
Yeah.
And I know that hope that there's treasure.
Yeah.
Because he works all things for good, according to his plan and his purpose.
You reminded me of a verse, and I love it's in Revelation. It's Revelation 2:17. He who has ears, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. To him who overcomes, I will give some of the hidden manna. I will also give a white stone with a new name written on it, known only to those who receive it. And I heard Larry Randolph preach on this.
Yeah.
And he talked about the Urim and the Thummim that was held under the breastplate. Yeah. And when it was used to, really, the priest didn't know how to judge. They would reach in, pull out a black stone or a white stone. Black stone, judgment. White stone is grace.
Yeah.
Right? So to you who overcome, I will give you hidden manna, and I'll also give you grace. And with that, you get a new name written on it. So and good. That is, what I love about this is, it's not he who believes. It's he who overcomes.
Yeah.
Right? Grace is this is what we're called to. We're called to hand out grace. We're called to show people Christ. And but also we're called to overcome. And in that we don't get marked by what we were in the past. We're given a new name.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if this is accurate. I don't know if I'd preach this from the pulpit, but he says he'll give you something hidden manna, which is like life sustaining. It is manna sustained. And these little things that you get, these truths, the wisdom that you guys carry, what you carry for family care, and all of Iris missionaries, it comes out of these overcomings that you guys have done, marriage and losing children and all of the things, living in Africa, battling the
depression and
the Mason group and you overcome. Yeah. And you guys now, I watch you pass out the white stone to people, grace, not guilty. And I know that only Christ can do that, but the way that you posture yourself is very much like grace, because you've overcome so much.
Thank you.
And what you guys bring to family care and our team is just gold. And I'm so happy to have you guys a part of the team. And what you bring, and we've even we sit in meetings every so often.
We do,
and I get to watch you guys do this real time, where I'm like blah 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 blah, like let me psychoanalyze or tell you what I think. You're like, I've watched you both do it. You're like, this will be the best season of your life if you let it. And I'm trying to tell them how bad the season of their life is. Yeah. But
Absolutely.
you guys are so crucial to what we do. And
Thank you.
yeah, there's something else that you want to share. Go for it. And then Alan, if there's anything else off your list, I like your list. If there's anything else that you want to share, I'd love for you to close it. Maybe pray for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just, you've talked about family care, and I think it is that I've seen the grace of God.
Yeah.
And he's loved me. He loves me, and he's loved me so well.
Yeah.
And so beautifully. And I want to extend that to other people. And I think, kind of in terms of, that's why I became a therapist, because I love, and I my aim is to help restore, or help them to, walk alongside them. And I think in terms of therapy, I was like, this verse speaks about his desire for everybody who's going through anything. And his promise is, and it's in Isaiah 54, and it says, "You unhappy one, storm-tossed and troubled, I am ready to rebuild you with precious stones and embedded your foundation with sapphires. And I will make you towers of rubies, your gates of sparkling jewels, and all your walls of precious, delightful stones." And just that reminder that he rebuilds, he restores.
Yeah.
And if I get to be a bit of a part of that in how he does it in other people's lives, then what a joy and a delight to come alongside people and help them rebuild those walls.
Come on.
With him at the center.
Yeah.
And that's kind of I have it posted because I do a lot of my work online, and it's in front of me every time I see a client.
That's actually interesting. Do you do counseling online?
I do.
And if people, after watching this, are looking for someone to talk with, and you charge, as you should, how can they get in touch with you?
I have a website they can go to. They can email me. We can put it in the blurb. That's what you say.
What's your email?
My
what's your
my
website?
website is awakeninglife.co.uk.
Oh, you got one of those UK ones. Awakening Life.
Awakening Life.
Iris Global email.
Or they can reach me at my Iris Global email.
Yeah.
But if they go to awakeninglife.co.uk, that's my...
And do the two of you guys ever do marriage counseling?
We do kind of marriage support.
I mean, my
outside. I'm talking outside of Iris.
I mean, sorry, mustn't move too far from the mic. I suppose my counselling technique's a bit more terse than Jan's, because I'll just say stop it, which isn't particularly helpful a lot.
I love it.
Just stop it. You go and see the Bob Newhart video.
Just stop it.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. But yeah, we do meet with people, meet with couples.
Yeah.
Well, we've even come out here before to meet with a couple to just. I mean, I'm not a counsellor, but we do love to encourage people.
You've been in ministry.
And I think we work well. We complement each other. He's got such wisdom.
Yeah, he does. He does. And you're embarking on your doctoral studies.
I've started. Yeah, it's completely terrifying and wonderful at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are incredible. And I love you both so much. And I'm so grateful for you guys. And you also, I don't know, I'm ashamed to say I don't know, but you're still leaders of Iris Global UK, right? Or
we're directors.
You're directors.
Directors.
Yeah.
There's 6 or 7 other directors, but we're the ones that are working within Iris, and so we tend to.
Okay. We do have people that watch from the UK. If they want to plug in, how can they do that?
They could, if they want to connect with us, they can connect via our Iris Global emails.
Okay.
They can also go to irisglobal.org.uk. Iris Global UK is primarily a giving centre, so that we have the delight of receiving money, and then the even greater delight of giving it out to places people that we meet. in Iris, and so that's just delight. So that's primarily what at the moment Iris Global UK is. So irisglobal.org.uk.
Yeah. So you guys run that. You're on the family care team. You counsel. You travel and speak and teach and
in the doctorate.
And you're doing your doctorate. So you guys are busy. And grandma.
Yes.
Grandpa.
Love it.
Yeah.
Greatest joy
and all the
delight.
things in between.
Yep, absolutely.
You guys are amazing.
Such a joy.
I love you guys massively. Alan, I wanted to just take the end for you to share anything that's on your heart. Maybe pray for anybody, family members, both, not just Alan, both of you guys. And close us in prayer.
Yeah.
Could you?
Yeah, I think I'd rather just pray.
Go for it.
One or two things written here, but I do want to say.
You can look down the barrel. Which one?
Or can I?
Those two.
Pick a barrel.
Pick a barrel.
I mean, I think one of the most important things is perseverance. I think perseverance is underrated within Christian culture. And you just talked about, to him who overcomes. Overcoming demands perseverance. So I really want to encourage you wherever you are at the moment. If you're addicted and you're at where I was on November 16, 1990, sitting in that room thinking you're going to end your life. And I don't know if there anybody is, but there may well be. I want to tell you that there's always hope. And that to keep on going and to put the destruction down and to ask for help. And that may be a hard thing for you to do, but I know that you can do it because I did it. And I really believe that freedom and healing and wholeness can come into your life, into your family's life, into your children's life, because Jesus goes after his sheep. He's not a passive savior. He goes after his sheep, and he will go after your children and bring them back home. He'll go after your husband. He'll go after your wife, your parents, whoever it is. He's very tenacious. He's a lion, but he's not safe. And he'll go after your children. And I'm just so grateful to him. And I just bless you. And I just want to pray for you all. And I just pray, Holy Spirit, whoever's listening to us at the moment, that you would just fill the rooms that they're in at the moment. If they're on the street living, wherever they are, Lord, listen to this on a phone, or Lord, I just pray that you, Holy Spirit, would fill them and that you would encourage them, that you would, as I had that sense of your presence. I didn't even know at the time it was really your presence, but it was your presence in that kitchen, November 16, 1990. I just pray that they would have that sense of your presence, that we take drink and alcohol and drugs to comfort, but Holy Spirit, you're the greatest comforter. You're the ultimate comforter. And I just pray, Holy Spirit, you would come and bring comfort into the places that need comfort. Bring freedom into places that are bound. And I thank you, God, that you are sovereign. Whatever that may mean to us theologically, we thank you that you are sovereign, you are the king on the throne. I just bless you. I just bless you with freedom. I just bless you with connections, with the right people, with encounters. And I just ask the Holy Spirit to put fresh heart into you. We drink, we take drugs to forget, but actually, particularly for alcohol, drugs is a preservative, and we wake up from the stupor, and their problems are preserved very beautifully there in the alcohol. But when you call upon Jesus and repent and seek his forgiveness, he forgets. He truly forgets and brings life. So I just bless you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, the Holy Trinity. We just encompass you, surround you, rescue you, bless you, heal you, and make you more like Jesus, and bring hope, because there is always hope, and you're never too far from hope. To the glory of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Come on. Thank you, guys. Alan?
Thanks, Will.
Jan?
Thank you, Will.
I love you both.
Love you too.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. All the info to connect with these guys will be down at the bottom.
And the photograph?
Oh, it was there.
Okay.
Hold on, we got to put it up again now that you referenced it.
I think it's really important. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. And I know that there's someone that you need to share this with. So share it. Maybe somebody would be encouraged by this, and hit like, hit subscribe. And just from the bottom of my heart, I just think the world of you guys, and our team that's behind the cameras. We totally love doing this. It is a great joy, and I'm so grateful that you guys continue to watch and leave comments. It really is a joy. And if this has blessed your life, not just this one, but any of them, leave a comment below, because it really helps us get the word out. And we love people hearing the message of hope and of Christ and of transformation and all that God is doing globally. So we love you guys. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And Hillary, thank you for the t-shirt. Okay. I love it. Love you guys. Love you guys. Matt and James behind the camera. You guys are okay too. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Iris Global Green Room.